In the early 1980s, sitting in front of a computer meant staring into a black void. To get a machine to do anything, you had to speak its exact language, typing long text commands into an operating system called MS-DOS. This steep technical learning curve made early computers extremely intimidating. They were tools for engineers and hobbyists, keeping the average person away from the digital world. In 1985, Microsoft released Windows 1.0. It functioned as a graphical overlay for MS-DOS, translating the underlying code into a workspace where users opened programs like a calculator or a game of Reversi by simply clicking an icon with a mouse. Moving from command prompts to clickable icons allowed users to manipulate files and folders directly, making the machine's internal logic visible for the first time. Windows 1.0 restricted applications to strict side-by-side tiles, but 2 years later, Windows 2.0 introduced a crucial upgrade. The application borders unlocked, and the program windows were finally free to overlap. This spatial layout directly mirrored a physical desk. Office workers could now type a document in Microsoft Word while simultaneously cross-referencing numbers from an Excel spreadsheet stacked right underneath it. Apple noticed this design immediately. They sued Microsoft, arguing that this overlapping aesthetic was stolen directly from the interface of their Macintosh computers. But the courts ruled in Microsoft's favor. Apple had previously invited Microsoft to collaborate on early software for the Mac, which legally permitted Microsoft to utilize some of those shared interface concepts. Winning that lawsuit secured Microsoft's path forward. The overlapping window structure became the default architecture for nearly every desktop operating system moving forward. As the 1990s began, hardware finally caught up to the software's ambition. Powered by the robust new Intel 386 processors, Windows 3.0 could run heavy, full-color graphical programs like CorelDRAW without buckling. Then came the launch of Windows 95. Microsoft debuted a drastically cleaner interface, organizing every file and application into a single start menu at the bottom corner of the screen. It also included a system called Plug and Play. Instead of manually installing complex drivers via floppy disks to use a new printer, the operating system automatically recognized the hardware the moment it was plugged in. By simplifying both the software layout and the hardware connection, Windows 95 pulled the computer out of corporate cubicles and placed it directly into the center of millions of living rooms. But scaling an operating system to that massive size exposed deep technical flaws. During a live televised CNN demonstration by Bill Gates himself, the computer suddenly locked up and flashed the infamous blue screen of death. That public glitch was a warning sign. 2 years later, Microsoft shipped Windows ME. The code was poorly optimized, causing computers to instantly lag or shut down the moment a user tried opening basic software. ME did introduce a novel idea called System Restore, designed to back up critical files so a user could roll back the clock if a glitch occurred. The System Restore function frequently broke down, earning the software the nickname Mistake Edition. Microsoft dominated the market, but the underlying code architecture holding their ecosystem together was failing under its own weight. Microsoft abandoned their old infrastructure and built Windows XP on the highly stable NT system in 2001. Hardware detection improved, crashes plummeted, and they delivered one of the most reliable operating systems in their history. That success led directly to overconfidence. To follow XP, Microsoft developed Windows Vista, packing it with an aesthetic engine called Aero that featured transparent 3D animations. The graphics looked great, but they consumed so many system resources that millions of machines were brought to a crawling lag. They listened to the massive backlash. In 2009, Windows 7 kept the sleek visuals of Vista, but thoroughly optimized the code beneath it, resulting in a fast, reliable operating system. Yet 3 years later, they stumbled again with Windows 8. Attempting to chase the rising tablet market, Microsoft stripped out the traditional start menu entirely, forcing desktop users to navigate a giant grid of touch-friendly tiles using a mouse and keyboard. A distinct rhythm had formed. Over 2 decades, Microsoft consistently answered a deeply flawed, frustrating release with a heavily refined product immediately after. That correction cycle resulted in Windows 10 in 2015. Microsoft brought back the traditional start menu for desktop users, cleanly embedding the live tile data directly inside it to balance classic utility with modern data feeds. Windows 11 pushed that design further into productivity. It introduced snap layouts that instantly lock applications into grids, and a tabbed file explorer that prevents a cluttered screen, optimizing the interface for multitasking. Microsoft's current position is the result of 4 decades of compounding software iterations and the hard lessons learned from every major release. The legacy of Windows is how it taught a global population to interact with computers, turning rigid lines of code into a visual language of folders, files, and cursors that anyone could understand. Microsoft's history suggests that long-term survival in the tech industry belongs to the company that can rapidly iterate on its own public disasters.